So to answer a couple of questions here, that ADP is used as kind of a low form of encryption in most agencies to keep the media out and the average John Doe on the street. When you get into AES, as you pointed out in the drug squad, that's something a little more critical when you want a little bit higher level of security there. So.
And then you've really got to think about the interoperability piece too. That complicates things. Jimmy.
Yes, for the interoperability piece, I just have one comment. Since you have ADP on your XCS today, most likely you're using the software version that comes with 8 keys. Just keep in mind, Ron and Kevin, when you're coding when you see your code, you may include also the multi-key option, because the ADP comes in with 1 key. If you want to interoperate with those 8 keys out there in the field for XCS, you do need the multi-key option. So that's maybe why when you see your codes, you may include this multi-key option. I do have these 2 radios encrypted with AES. I can show later how it works. You won't hear a difference. When you talk, you will notice that the transmission.
Cat 1, EMS 1, fire 1.
So this one is encrypted right here. It's testing what you want to do. You see that the light is blinking, indicating that I'm receiving encrypted transmission. Now, if the person didn't have the encryption key, this is what they would hear. They would just hear garbled audio.
Renata, there's an engine out here if you want to, whenever it makes
Okay, so I don't want to go into too many details.
I'm sorry to stop you. On your ADP encryption, if you're using an AES device, will you be able to receive that ADP encryption?
Great question. Yeah, this ADP and AES interoperable. Yes, it is on the APX, because APX comes with ADP hardware and software version.
Okay.
If you want to use ADP and AES, you would use the hardware version for both. So both encryption modules, both encryption keys would reside in that encryption board. So you can use both. And with APX it's fine. We just need multi-key as well, but with APX it's fine because it comes with that encryption module in there. And loaded with ADP, so we don't have to pay extra for ADP. Don't want to bore you with too much details. I do want to point out though on the APX 4000, it has the one knob design, so instead of having a knob for the channel and a knob for the volume, this one knob design here is used for channel and volume control. So you have the default, you will program the default to be either volume or channel. Right now in this particular radio, the default is volume. So I'm turning the knob, increasing the volume. If I want to change channels, I just short press. And while this light is blinking, I can change my channels.
Channel 2, channel 3.
And then to turn off the radio, just long press. And obviously, do you want to power off? I say yes. That's how it works. It's pretty simple. A lot of our users like the simplicity of this one knob design, and some other users, they don't want to retrain the user, they want to keep the two knob design. So it's a matter of choice. You saw the mission critical wireless that I showed in the beginning. Just want to point out that on the APX radios that have Bluetooth enabled, you can also use commercial off-the-shelf Bluetooth if you wanted to. So the Bluetooth device that you use with your cell phone, you can pair with the APX if that's what you wanted to do. It's possible. The only caveat is that you have to PTT on your radio because there's no PTT button, and also it's not mission critical, it's not encrypted or anything like that. But you can use. The option is there. And then there is a couple other accessories that we designed for our APX 3000, which is our cover radio. It doesn't have a microphone or a speaker. I have it on the table over there, and you can come see. But it's a cover radio that's pretty much a black box. And there's a couple of accessories that were designed when we designed that radio. For cover operations, you can have iPod style earbuds connected to your mission critical pod, so you can pretend you're listening to music. And also you can do channel channel control, channel up, channel down, with this device, remote device that looks like a car key. So you can PTT, emergency. So just a few options. If you have Bluetooth, you can use these accessories with any APX radio. The XC series I went over. There is the XC series is just an overlay on the APX 6000 and 7000, so you can get the standard 6000 and just have that casing. When you get that casing, you also get an FM battery, you get an additional layer of submersibility and an additional layer of noise suppression. It's available in the 6000 and 7000 series. And these are just pointing out what other ergonomic enhancements that we have in the XC series. So large knobs, larger PTT button, the improved water porting for the speaker, emergency button, and the display is actually twice as tall. It's the same number of characters, just larger for our users in the fire situation to be able to see under foggy conditions. As far as mobiles, I'm not going to go into the details, but all the control heads that we offer are on the table. I'll pass those two around. This is the traditional 05 control head that you may have with your XTL. And then we have newer control heads that are 07 and this is the 02. 07 and 02. The 07 has a DTMF keypad, and the 02 has a 7.5 watt speaker in it with a color display. So now we have several options to choose from as far as control heads. The 02 is the standard control head for the APX 4500, which is our entry tier mobile. It's there on the table. It does have a smaller transceiver as well. And this is just a closer look at the two new control heads, the 02 on the top, 07 on the bottom. The 07, you can connect, you can use it for lights and siren controls. So instead of having several DAC boxes in your console, you can consolidate all of that with the 07 control head here. You can program the DTMF buttons to do take-down lights, side-added lights, sirens, PA, things like that. And the 09 is just a large control head with a button dedicated for each of these functions. But the 09, you do have, you do see there's a knob in the middle. That knob can consolidate actions, any actions, such as lights and sirens. So let's say you're going to full pursuit mode, you can go to position number 3, and now the lights and sirens are on. Just an example. And on the right there, you see the DTMF keypad with the prints for lights and sirens as well. On the 02, I'm not going to go into the detail, but we do offer, we designed a feature for schools. This was designed for the state of Ohio schools. We have a mobile on each school, and what they wanted was a large emergency button, and they wanted a mobile that the user could just press this large emergency button, and the hot mic would activate, and the dispatcher could hear what's happening on scene, and they wouldn't have to do anything. They just press the emergency button, and they would be, the police would be notified there's a problem quickly. This is just showing the difference between the control heads. Just wanted to point out here in this slide is that the 02 and the 07 control head, the two new ones, you can actually mix and match them if you're doing dual control head configuration. We never offered big mix and match before, so that's something new. And then as far as data, right, there's since you have data capability, you can have GPS, you can have text messaging, and you can also have programming over the air. Programming over the air is very convenient because the users can stay in the field while the programming changes are sent over the air, and they don't have to come to the office to make those changes. Along with that, with APX, we went a step beyond, and we offer something called radio management. With radio management, the programmer can have his code plug database that is easily stored and has version control as far as which changes were made. But what's most important here is that he can have groups, he can make changes, he can apply changes to hundreds of radios at a time. Let's say he wants to add a channel, he can do that pretty quickly, and then send the changes not only over the air, but also via IP. So via your customer network, those changes can go via IP based. So let's say that the computer on the programmer's office is connected to a kiosk on a fire station, a police station. All the user would have to do if there's a change schedule for the radio would be to connect the radio using a programming cable to a computer. And if there is any changes scheduled for that particular radio with that particular serial number, the changes would automatically happen. The user wouldn't have to do anything. All they would have to do is connect the radio and see if there is any changes. If there are any changes, they would automatically happen. And the way I envision this happening is, okay, there is a programming change that was scheduled for your particular radio. Then the programmer will send you an email. Hey, there is a change, there's a firmware update, or there's a flash update that needs to be done to your radio. Just go ahead and connect your radio to the kiosk close to you, and the changes will automatically happen. So there are two options, over the air or via IP.
Is that part of Provisioning Manager, or is that a separate application?
Provisioning Manager.
Oh, yeah.
That's a separate application. Provisioning is something different.
So
Yeah.
separate clause.
Yeah, I have to look it up to see exactly what provisioning is, but this should be different.
That's part of the system management.
You're talking about over-the-air programming?
No, let's talk about provisioning.
Yeah, I was just asking if this was going to be encompassed in Provisioning Manager to the admin interface as one solution opposed to two different applications.
So this is really neat, and actually an APX CPS comes with the capability of 100 to use radio management for up to 100 radios that included with the software. And then if you want to do more than 100 radios, then you have to add those licenses at a cost. But the programmer can actually test it out at no cost for up to 100 radios. And it's really, really nice because we never offered a feature where you could do firmware updates remotely. With APX, there are programming updates that come out every 6 months, and those can be sent remotely now. And even flash updates, like if you want to add Bluetooth to your radio, like a feature like Bluetooth, you can just send those via IP, and the user doesn't have to come to the programmer's office. So if you have more questions, we'll talk later. But since the agent is waiting, I don't want to.
And we can come back if you want
Yeah.
If you want to do that,
Oh, okay.
and then we can come back and
Let's
finish
go look
up.
at the
Let's take a
fire
look at
and
it.
then
Okay.
come back to this.
So guys, what we're going to